Hey guys, Nate Sexton here. I'm going to give you guys my 2025 in the bag from Las Vegas. So we got some different type of discs in the bag right now. Not a lot of flippy stuff, more playing the hyzer game. So let's start with the putters. Those don't change very often. We've got the Nate Sexton Nexus Fireflies. I like to carry two. I prefer to not know the difference between them. So I just kind of have two putters I can use interchangeably for warming up, or if I happen to lose one. These are great for me, anything inside about 50. I don't really throw them. I don't really use them for 100 footers, but I use them for all my push putts and my shorter spin putts, especially into a headwind, because they do have a little bit more stability than the next disc in my bag, the R-Pro Dart. This is my next disc up for putting. I use this for like 60 footers to 120 maybe. I'll also use this for short drives, turnovers, approaches. Happy to throw it 250, maybe even longer if the hole calls for it. A little bit more off the tee, I'll use the XT Dart. So this one I'll throw up to 300, a little bit stiffer plastic, still got great grip. But this is the one I'll use not for putting, but more for approaches and drives. I find them to be not as flippy as you probably think they are. Everyone thinks darts are so flippy, but actually it's really, really straight. You just get a little hyzer on it, get it floating, and it'll go a long, long way, I think, as far as a mid-range in most cases. I find the dart to be so neutral that all I have to do is think about anhyzer and it anhyzers. All I have to do is think about hyzer and it hyzers. I don't really even have to impart much to it. I just feel like it has a direct link to my brain and it does what I think it should do. So that's a beautiful thing with the disc. XT darts are great. Mid-range lineup, we've got old trusty KC Rock. I call this one Chandler after my buddy Chandler Fry. It's got this Sasquatch on it. I really like this one. I don't even know where this Sasquatch disc golf course is. So if you know, I want more of these. So hit me up about if you own this course. I don't know where this logo even came from, but I like it. So this is just a regular KC Rock, getting a little bit seasoned, 177 grams, overstable. I'll use this for mid-range shots where the dart is not stable enough, where I'm needing to fight a little wind, or I want to throw a consistent hyzer all the way through the flight. This is my go-to for that kind of shot. Normally, I would certainly have a Mako 3. I almost always do, but not in Las Vegas. So I'll shout out the Mako 3. I usually throw the Star Plastic, but I don't have one right now. I do, however, have a Soft Pro Toro. I find this to be a fun disc. Super overstable, super flat, very, very comfortable in my forehand grip. Maybe one of the most comfortable mid-ranges Innova has ever made in that respect for me. I'll throw it backhand as well. I find it to be, at high speeds, quite straight, surprisingly straight, and then a really hard dump at the end. So it never flips over. I can throw it as hard as I want, and then at the end, it's really going to finish strong. And there's something I just like about the juxtaposition between really overstable and really floppy. Like, it feels like it shouldn't be possible, but this thing proves that it is. So I just kind of like that about it, that it's such a rubbery disc, but it still hangs on against any wind. I can throw it on forehand flex lines, backhand hyzers. Really nice utility disc that you can trust in the wind. The little brother to the Toro is the Rat, kind of a star variant. I call this one the Golden Rat. Thankfully, haven't lost him yet because it does tend to blend in with the ground. But this is primarily a forehand disc, pretty much exclusively a forehand disc for me. Straighter, much straighter than the Toro. Can use it for wood shots, tailwind shots, little forehand approaches where I don't want the skip of a Firebird. I want something to settle down a little bit easier. This is my primary forehand mid-range when I don't need a whole lot of stability. Speaking of Firebirds, we might as well get to them. There's a lot of them in here. Yeah, and then we got the brand new addition to the bag, actually. Let's get that one first. This is the 2025. It came out today. I've been throwing them for a couple of weeks, nice and overstable. They're in the Halo plastic, really bright glow. Most overstable Firebird in my bag at the moment. Next most overstable is this Double Stamp 2019. I've had this in my bag for a while, so fans are going to recognize this one. I put it in my bag initially because I didn't want to throw one of my 2015s in the water. And this one felt pretty similar, and it was nice and overstable, so I would throw it over the water. But then it succeeded so many times in a row that it earned its way in, because it never goes in the water. So now it's a trusty soldier, and it's in the bag because I had first put it in just to avoid throwing my favorite ones. Now it is one of my favorite ones. So that's how it works sometimes. This one is nice and overstable, really trustworthy, nice flexy plastic that I like. That's a hallmark of the Sexton Firebird. So 2019. Then I have two 2015s. This one is kind of medium beat up. It's the more overstable of the two. Probably my main Firebird that I throw the most at home. Probably going to get a lot of work here in Vegas as well. This one is overstable enough that it's not going to flip, but old enough that I can get 350 out of it and get a little bit of stand up and run out of the forehand, which is the sweet spot for the Firebird in my opinion. Flippiest one is this rainbow stamp. Was just throwing this in New Mexico. Took some serious battle damage up there in the mountains, but it's still flying all right, and better for tailwinds or a shot where I really need the flip up, maybe even a little flip over, and I want it to drag left. All right, after the Firebird, we'll look at some other fairway drivers. At the moment, I have one Swirly Star Thunderbird. I use this for backhand fairway work, 300 to 400 feet generally. Medium overstable, really nice backhand driver. I just find it to be straight enough that I can just sort of throw it hard, trust what it's going to do. It kind of does exactly what you expect an average disc golf driver to do, and that's what I'm looking for. Something that just gets out there, doesn't do anything crazy, holds the line, and then swings in for me. Swirly Star Thunderbird and Star Sidewinder. I always like to have one of these with me. Big backhand rollers, forehand flip up, fancy trick shots. I use it for that kind of thing. Rarely a backhand air shot, but generally this one, probably if I use it this week, it's going to be for the roller. I hope I get to, because it's beautiful out here, but I can't have too much wind when I'm laying this thing down. So we'll see if I get an opportunity, but this has been my favorite roller disc for many years. I will also roll the Thunderbird. That's my second favorite roller disc when I want to throw a cut roller. So I should have mentioned that with the Thunderbird. Sidewinder and Thunderbird get the majority of the backhand roller duties. Firebird gets the forehand roller duties when I do have to go to that shot. Next, we've got the XCaliber distance driver, forehand exclusive for me. I don't throw these backhand at all. This is a nice first run. Somebody gave me this in Texas last year, just walked up to me and gave me 2 first run XCals. Super nice. So thank you to whoever that was. I always appreciate that when fans are hooking me up with something they know I'll throw. But this is that one. If you're out there and you're watching this video, this is the one you gave me, buddy, from Austin. Stays in its lane a little bit more than a destroyer, a little bit less tendency to like flip and ride, a little bit more just plows through straight and then finishes stable. I wouldn't say that it's more overstable than a destroyer. I would just say that it's a little tighter in its pattern. It doesn't have quite as much distance potential, but it'll stay in the tunnel a little bit more than the destroyer will, with a little lateral play. So I use these a lot when a Firebird just won't go far enough. This is like a big brother to the Firebird. It flies very, very similar shape-wise, but has another 30 to 40 feet of distance. This is the same XCal, but a halo one, a little more overstable than the first run. So I'll use this one into a headwind. You know, we got to have a stack of destroyers, long course out here. So I got a bunch of them with me. We'll go through them. This is my newest destroyer, Champion Halo. Beautiful disc. It feels really good in the hand. I would say that it's a little bit more overstable than average destroyer, but not as crazy as some that I've thrown. So I find it to be on the overstable side for what I'm carrying right now. Was able to throw it into some pretty significant headwinds and get just a little flip up and ride. Certainly in the calm, it's not going to flip for me. It's going to get flat and then fade. So kind of a workhorse control disc for me out here. Big hyzers, hitting landing zones, trying not to go out of bounds. Probably my most stable even still, even though it's a little bit old, 2021 Calvin Halo. Super overstable and it's brand new, could barely even throw it, but it's good for super wind, and it's nice to have one like this in the bag at a windy location. I don't generally carry this model, but when I'm somewhere windy, it's nice to have that security blanket in there and know that even if I run into the worst headwind around, I still have something I can use. I'll use it forehand or backhand. Probably save it mostly for times when I'm going into 25 miles an hour of wind or more, which does tend to happen out here. This one's Mouse. You maybe have seen Mouse before. A little bit beat up. My daughter draws these for me. So Llama has been retired. Mouse replaced Llama. Mouse is a good flyer. Pretty straight at the moment. Good for forehand or backhand, whatever I need from it. Just a nice bottom stamp star destroyer. If I need a little more stability, we reach for Bear. Bear is a little newer than Mouse, and Bear will hook up a little sooner. Good disc for, it's probably one of my most thrown destroyers at the moment, because it's got enough flip to get some distance, but still enough stability that I don't have to worry about it staying over. So if I just need like a control shot where maximum distance isn't really the goal, I'm just looking for 425 to 450, nice and flat and with a little finish, I'm probably reaching for Bear. This is a first run destroyer, again given to me by a fan, so thanks. I use this for forehand only. It's a little flippier than the other ones, so it'll probably get tailwind work, maximum distance work with the forehand. Goes longer than the XCal, but a little bit squirrelier too. Sometimes you got to go for that squirrely shot though if you want to get out to the end of your distance capacity. So I use this one in those situations. When I'm looking for a forehand over 400 feet, this is a disc I'm likely to try. Nice and flat, a little bit of flip up, and has a lot of potential to go far. This one is in that same category. It's a swirly destroyer, but it's flippy like the first run. I'll use this one for forehand only as well. Maximum distance. Used to throw it on flex lines, but I think those days maybe have passed for this specific guy. He's starting to get a little bit tired of the flex. He likes the flat to hyzer more now. Getting a little old. But one of my favorite runs, I've thrown these for a long time. I think these are a 2015 vintage, but a disc that I've used for a long time and really enjoyed. So a forehand destroyer. And then this is my max distance bomber, really domey, high dome, 171. Thomas Gilbert gave me this out of his flock of distance drivers for distance competitions. And I found it to be a nice, long, gliding, 500-footer type of disc. So if I need to really send it, this is the one I'll reach for if I have tailwind or no wind, somewhere where I can take the risk of throwing something a little flippier and try and really get it to get up and tower over and get as much distance as I can possibly get. All right, that brings me to the end of my discs. I'm carrying it all in the newly redesigned Pound Octothorpe. A bunch of cool features with this bag. I've been with them for years. Handmade in the USA, best bag in the world. Got my Sharpies, got my towels. Other than that, you know, as far as special stuff I keep in there, I got the water bladder so I can have a drink while I'm on the move with my bag. I've got fingernail clippers, sandpaper block for fixing those little rough spots if I happen to hit a rock or some pavement. I've got chapstick, sunscreen, some kind of hand moisturizing product so that I don't get chapped fingers that crack in the desert down here when you're throwing all day. Sometimes I'll get the problems where my fingers start to get raw, and I try to stay ahead of that. Couple of minis, couple pencils, that's about it really. Thank you guys for watching, and thanks for your support over the years. I hope you guys check out the 2025 Firebird. I'm loving it so far, and I hope you do too.